Yes, hello to all, and welcome to this session on that's titled Artificial Intelligence is Shaping the World. What can we expect? And today we have with us Haris Hajik, who is an expert in artificial intelligence. He has many years of work experience from Ericsson before, and then after a few years, he decided that he has to go his own way. And that's how ByteMotion came into existence. And him and his co-founder have been working on several projects related to artificial intelligence, about which we will discuss in the session. And the startup has received funding from both the government and private sources. So thank you so much, Haris, for coming. We also have with us Tone, who is a Højskole lecturer at HVL, and she's the eminensvarlig in Haugesund. And of course, I am Shrey, and I am eminensvarlig for Digitalisering for Økonomer in Bergen. So let's begin. Tone, so it's up to you.
First of all, Harris, what exactly is artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Artificial intelligence and machine learning are the not new but old aspects of explaining the algorithms of solving complicated problems by specifically understanding better the environment around you. It's usually connected with the smart machines, and machines are not made smarter by logic themselves, but also sensors. Robots and them are becoming smarter, or we are basically, as humans, we are smart because we have many senses. So artificial intelligence would be practically programming of those senses themselves and enabling them to cooperate with muscles in a case of a human, or robot arms is in case of robotics. Because up until now, robots have been usually blind, only performing the tasks that are in the specific area. But artificial intelligence and machine learning is enabling them to make decisions based on the sensor input, which are becoming more and more complicated, or based on the data that is gathered, that's specifically machine learning, and making decisions according to that data that has been accumulated.
That's very interesting. And so it seems like it's kind of a very big world and requires a lot of background. So I was just wondering, what kind of products do RobotNorge create, and what sort of is the rationale behind those products? What's driving RobotNorge?
I would say that the world is changing, and we all know that. 20 years ago, the solutions have been lasting for, let's say, 10, 15 years, 20 years. Today's world is much more faster. Things and applications that have been cool 5 years ago, they are forgotten, etc. So you have to adapt. So that is the driving force. And if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, or you have to follow the train. So RobotNorge, together then with its part ByteMotion, has partnered on the projects which are then intended for the new market, for the new solutions, because people are thinking that, yeah, it should work because I've seen it on the video somewhere and so on, but it's opening us a new possibility. So, yeah. So the product itself, I can share basically, I think I just need this presentation if that's not a problem.
Yes, can you see?
Yeah, now I can. So this is just a simple example of where the artificial intelligence is needed. In order to provide the grabbing of trachea, which is the inner part of the animal, we have a project or one work package within a project, RoboButcher, which basically is the reason why you contacted me. This is a very hard problem in a way. If you knew where trachea is, like that is a option on the top when you have rigid pig 3D module, when you should guess where the throat is in order to grab it. You can solve it that way. Another option, which is preferred option, of course, is the artificial intelligence. Then you should kind of recognize, and this artificial intelligence is dealing with the pictures, 2D pictures or the 3D, later on exposing it to the 3D world. And then you could basically grab it as the professor on the picture left is basically doing that the same way as machine should do it on a picture a little bit to the right from him. And if you go to the next slide, of course, there is a movie. We don't have to go in this explanation how the things work. What is the product itself? The product which is enabling us to create many products, solutions, I would call it. Integrators as a RobotNorge, they are integrating different technologies like robots together with sensors into solutions which customers buy. So Ocellus is what we build. There is Ocellus doc page, which I've shared with you, and then simplifies vision and robot programming and allows to easily prototype many advanced modules to achieve the desired result. That's the business case. Business case is if the things are not easy, they are expensive. So you have to make them easy. And then from one project, you go to another project, etc. It is a programming tool for wiring together hardware devices, as written here, and then that enables us services. Services basically are the solutions, and this is what RobotNorge sell. If you skip next slide and then go to the last slide, I will come to this one very soon. Here is how the AI works, artificial intelligence works. So practically you have, in the case of the picture analysis, this is what algorithms for this go back in the 70s with their solution at that time, but especially in 2000, it has become driven by Google, Facebook, and so on. So they can recognize you on different pictures that you have and then suggest is that somebody, is it a human, is it this and that? So we are using that kind of algorithms in order to make robots smarter, or at least enable them to do tasks, like in this case, a grabbing of trachea. First of all, you have to do a lot of data collection. That's presented left up. Then you are doing labeling and data manipulation, and you are pointing exactly what part of the environment you are interested in. In this case, it's trachea marked with the red dots. Then you do a lot of manipulation of the data. There are different tools to do it. In this case, we are using a tool open for the research. After that, you are running the algorithms. Algorithms are available. They are kind of for free. You have Google algorithms. Facebook has been very busy lately, so be aware. On the other hand, those algorithms are useful for us who want to do the application in some kind of more useful than just virtual world or virtual created the world for people who want to be online and famous. You can use them in the basically real environments, and in this case, the AI will enable 2D space projection of this trajectory. Of this grabbing points, and at the end is a 2D to 3D space sync. Because if you see something in a 2D world, our eyes enables us to see also things in a 3D world. 2D world is close one eye. It's hard to grab stuff. 3D world opens the two sensors, which are enabling the 3D positioning, and then we can easily grab things. This is the same thing with the new cameras. They're doing different technologies behind it, but at the end, it's all projecting the 2D artificial intelligence picture into the 3D world, and then you can enable grabbing. If you just go a slide back, there's also a video how we basically do, in this case, it's the Charuku board presented at the bottom, in which basically enables us to position the camera in the world and then say the robot where things are and so on. As humans, we have a lot of learnings that we start as babies when we are grabbing stuff. Robots also need to pass all of that path, and that is what's happening and enabling us a lot of technology opportunities in a way. So this is a generic view of AI, and then it's specifically if we want to go to where are we when it comes to applications for the RobotNorge and solutions and so on. I've also sent you a link to the bunch of the videos. I would rather open them, but if you could, I would be very grateful if you can open the direct.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So the video itself will explain again this what I've talked about AI. What is done. This is specifically for the work package that is interested in the internal organs. So data gathering, AI creation, and experimental runnings. So then you can see how this would be very impossible to solve without artificial intelligence of today's world. So we put the camera on the robot's hand in order to gather the data. And then you have a lot of manual work in the definition of in the 2D space. Then experimental tests, which you will now see very visually how they work. This is not the same day, so it's quite some time after. So what's the cool thing, AI is running in the real time. So this is happening in milliseconds. So you can see the RGB camera, this is inside, and it's recognizing the place that it needs to grab. You have X, Y, and Z coordinates in this case. And in this picture is a 3D representation. You have seen also the orientation to the right and how you move the camera from. You see left is 2D, right is a 3D picture. And that enables you basically to do the grabbing. And then we did some disturbance tests, explaining also how the AI works. So now the hand is going to be there and it's going to disturb the environment. And later on, you will see the darkness and so on.
So this shows that the algorithm is quite stable and is able to work even when
exactly
it's a little bit, off. Yeah.
Exactly. But this is the interesting moment. So you can see the hand coming, and hand is the disturbance. So now it's not recognized because we didn't teach it for those kind of situations. But
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is also now side view. Never used any of the pictures for the side view, but it still works. It doesn't work perfectly. If you provide more input data, it will learn. The algorithms work. So this is darkness. Never used any pictures of the darkness. Works decently. So this is the research and put into something in order to make a product itself. So I'm gonna kill this one, and then let me just close this, and I will open now one more video. Just a second, which is more closer to because this is a research project. You were more interested in that, but I have a very good examples of some other type of a project which are more closer to reality. So Levidar is the producer of the sausages in the Norway.
Can you just make it full screen, Haris?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you have a recognition of picking up the sausages from the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
This is something that can be done, of course, with the machine vision, but in this case, it is so that just by learning on one type of a sausage, you have learned for any type of a sausage. Otherwise, if you go for the machine vision, then you would have to go for learning the system for that type of a sausage, that type of a sausage, that type of sausage. Artificial intelligence, you learn it for, it's recognizing a sausage on, this is controlled environment. So it will basically recognize any type of a sausage coming there. Of course, if you, I don't know, throw something that looks like a sausage, you would have a problem. But in this environment, you don't expect something that is looking like a sausage.
So if I understand it correctly, what you're doing is that you have, for example, you train the algorithm, you have this, you collect some data, and then you train the algorithm, and then you use that algorithm to predict whether what you see is actually what you see, kind of. So if you train it to see sausages, then in the future, when it sees a sausage, it says, okay, it's a sausage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're learning the machine. You are learning the machine, the things that we know.
Okay.
If you go a few years back, it is also how by Google was the leading one. It was using, recognizing the traffic signs, and then it's a traffic sign in rain. It's a traffic sign in sun. And then it basically, and that's what enables self-driving cars. Those environments are much more unpredictable. The industrial environments are more predictable. So this is what we basically use. We use the algorithms from there and applying them on this. But it is very, very also big deal. Apart from AI, I will not go in that big deal. It's projection of the 2D space into the 3D space. That's a mathematical problem. I'll not go, we stay with AI itself. This is what enables then robotics. Okay. So that was a Levidar. I will show also we can go station 1. This is interesting. Then this is the sausages you could solve with the machine vision, which was approach up until 90s. But nowadays it's AI is very, very important. This is the old, because you are taking a pincets.
Can you make it full screen again? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. You're taking basically 2 pincets to grab something which is very much without AI, you have to recognize where the stem is. And now you see problems of hitting the branch. This is the development phase and so on. At the end, nowadays, this works much faster without any problems with a different camera and so on. So as you can see, try to imagine human going with the two pincettes and grabbing something. It's a lot of AI, and the environments are complicated, but you have to build the AI and then the projection of the 2D world into the 3D world and so on. This opens us projects and opportunities. So I'll not go in a whole video. It's something like that.
But this is all really fascinating work. Sorry, Tanya, please go ahead.
Yeah, Harris, would you say that this is like research driven, or is it like a demand from the market?
So the first thing is the research driven when we talk about RobotButcher, if we talk about the pig itself. I will explain why it's more research driven. Everything at the end is a market driven, because you cannot get the research projects if you do not have today market involved. But for example, when I show the levidar, the sausages or tomatoes, they're very much market driven. So yeah, everything is market driven. You have to assure somebody that you can build this. The issue is becoming that everything is now more and more, you cannot run away from development process. Up until now, old project, you know how the things work, you know what to expect from technology. So the integrators are putting technology together and they know that they can do it. Now the more risk is involved because the market is becoming more and more risky. Just take Bitcoin, for example. It's very good technology and so on, but it is a risky thing and people go for it. It's the same thing with the solutions provided by the AI. You have to trust who does it, and then new ideas are coming. The important thing is to find something which is easier for technology and brings the money, rather than something which is very complicated for technology. It does not bring that much money. Although if you're into this just for the research, for the perspective of technology, then you wouldn't ask for it. But market is always there. We don't do the projects which you don't believe you can earn from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so
one last thing.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
I'll just show you this to conclude the videos I prepared. Mm-hmm. So this is the projects I like are in this is in connection with the ecology. There's a lot of opportunity for us. Humans shouldn't work in those environments. Same thing is with the meat. It's very hard. Nobody wants to do that job anymore. But this is a solution that we have provided for EVAR, and this is the robot in the real environment now. So you have seen trying to find the batteries within a metal garbage, because that's what's happening in real environments now. So it's opportunity. So picking batteries from manufacturers in EVAR, this is how it looks, a very fast conveyor coming with a lot of mess, it could be. And then with artificial intelligence, we are capable of finding batteries in this mess. Humans couldn't do this. We don't want to affect the process itself because it's made. So we have managed to find opportunities. You see batteries being recognized and then picked. So we managed to put the robot inside already existing environment, and then that robot would do something what the humans otherwise would have to do, because it's a very complicated problem. So yeah, this has been in EVAR for a year and something and so on. So,
this is really fascinating. I think you have a really nice overview of the kind of where we stand in terms of artificial intelligence. So it would be very nice to hear from you. What do you think are some of the kind of the main benefits of having AI over, having a human doing it?
I would say there are aspects of many aspects. I would say I would go first with ethical aspect, and that is, in some environments, humans, as I mentioned, shouldn't be working. It's very, very hard. I would recommend anybody to go to Ivar or Romerike, somewhere around Oslo, and try to go in those places. They are cancerogenic. People do not care so much about, for example, ecology. They just want to have machines that fix this, etc., etc. So there are places where humans should be replaced. It's unhealthy and it's problematic, and plus it's not a well-paid job, so it doesn't provide you really the joy of living and so on. There are also the places which are dying out, like in case of the butchers. Not too many people dream to do that job and so on. So you have to do some kind of solution for it. And machine, and also don't meat is also probably thing of past. In the future is going to be a lot of about the vegetables, much more. And then this is the solutions coming there. And it's repetitive, then it's a repetitive task. If not health dangerous or dangerous to injure yourself, there's also repetitive tasks, like in this case in the tomatoes. So we are not gonna take all the job from people. It is that if something can be handled by the robot, then it will be handled. But then the complicated situations when these tomato stems are very hard, complicated, and so on, then you cannot solve it. So then it goes. But the opportunity is in automation of the repetitive task. In opportunity with AI, that opportunity is much bigger. And plus, we are shooting at areas which are ethically, you shouldn't have people working there. So this is where AI, I think, is first applicable. Of course, if somebody comes with a, let's say, simpler task, which brings more money for that specific solution, then we can discuss and build that kind of solution. And I think that is also the future. Currently, we are picking the fruits of where humans need help. And where basically, it's easier to apply AI.
Before we go on, can you just stop sharing your screen? Because it would be nice if we could see a larger face a bit more.
Yeah, I'll just share. Pause or stop share.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. So one thing, so I see like a lot of benefits for this technology. I'm wondering, what are the key challenges that you face in this industry?
As I said, the biggest problem is currently integration job is just like a doctor's job. You come to somebody.
Can you just clarify a little bit, what is this integration and what are you trying to integrate?
Okay, integrator is a person, as I said, who is putting few machines, few solutions together, integrating them in a solution that then the customer is interested in. That would mean like you want to put your toaster together with your sensor of the light, and together with your mood, and together with I don't know what, and then you are providing a solution that toaster will turn on only if the certain logic is satisfied. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, then it opens a lot of more sensors, opens a lot of more senses, and also ways to program it. So AI is opening all of that. And from my perspective, it is almost like a doctor you come to, and then doctor needs to give you a solution for your problem that you have. So the amount of that options are much, much bigger with artificial intelligence. So the challenge is currently integrators have been focusing on technology that are known to them. And as I said, technologies have been moving in the concept of 10 years, 15, 20 years. Not too many things have been changing. Now everything is becoming much, much more faster. So the challenge today is that you have to basically do development process. You don't only integrate things together, but when it comes to artificial intelligence programming, etc., it is becoming more demanding on integrators to do more complicated stuff that were before you could buy it from the box and just wire things together, hardware integration or simple programming, which was on a level of 90s. Now everything is becoming interconnected in the industry 4.0, Internet of Things. So that's the demand that we have as the experts, as you would say, because people just see this is possible. Some things are easy because technology enables it easy, but some things people think they are easy, and they are in our logic they are easy because we use a lot of prejudices that the machines are like humans. No, and the other way around. There are certain benefits of them not being like us. So,
okay. So, what do you think are the most like the impact on the society and in terms of ethical issues? And
I consider them good and bad. The good things are, as I said, that people will be exempt from certain types of the jobs that are not well paid or are dangerous and so on. We will give that to machines, no problem. And this is the projects that we are doing right now. Another aspect is, of course, how this will impact the big economy market, meaning are the people going to stay out of job and so on? And that is something that, well, you can put it as a philosophical question, of course, or you can put it as a realistic question. We don't see that problem right now. But I think that the technology more and more enabling this kind of stuff, are we going to create a society in which, either it's going to be a lot of fight between some sort of people and machines and the owners of the money and the ones that have a power and those guys, I would say the dog, when being beaten by a human with a stick, is never angry on a human. It's usually biting a stick. So I don't know. Currently, I would say that we are focusing on the stuff which are needed for humanity. At least this is what we do. And then I don't know where this is going to take us. That's philosophical.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of, so I see that this is the scope for AI and machine learning is so wide, and it can do so much. I'm just wondering, like, what is the role for the government here? What kind of laws and regulations do you think are necessary? Yeah.
Okay. If I take smaller example, like solution that we have seen for the meat cutting, the RobotNorge, which is the reason why we are meeting here. Let's say that up until now, it was humans doing all the work, and it is. You have the lines in which humans work, not a nice place, etc. And there are now with this kind of stuff, with artificial intelligence, there is kind of new interaction between human and the machine, where artificial intelligence will suggest certain cut, and then a butcher would be able to say, that's a good cut, approve it. Or it would say, it's not a good cut, I'm going to do it this way. And then that is a new information, new data for artificial intelligence. So it is then raising a safety question. So regulations needs to be done. There are certain rules on the safety of the machine and human beings around them. So you have to design a solutions in which this is safe for a human. And this doesn't have to be safe for the machine. But it has to be safe for the human. So those regulations need to come. If we talk about artificial intelligence in, as I said, a bigger scale of philosophical scale impact on the whole economy, again, I say this is something that needs to be discussed, taken further. We are changing the world step by step, and this is usually how technology works. So.
And I just want to know a little bit about, like, what are the differences between, for example, Scandinavia, Norway, and other countries in terms of how they view these developments.
Okay, so I'll take example of USA and Norway. So USA has, we would say, it has very cheap labor. End of story. Compared to Norway, Norway has a very high minimum wage. And that, for us, enables that economy-wise, we can automate certain activities, which in some other countries would be not productively or economically good, because they have a cheap labor. And in Norway, that is not a cheap labor. Basically, you have a level of money that can be invested in a project. So I would look at it like that from economical perspective. From ethical perspective, I would say that, yeah, Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, and so on is thinking more about wealth of people, etc. And I would say here, yeah, you are discussing about stuff. We are discussing about stuff of the impact. Is this something what it should be? You cannot just do the change itself. Well, I would say in some other places, I wouldn't know, but I would expect that many other places, human rights are not so much being concerned, or even discussed than concerned. But we are focusing our work on the Scandinavia market because this is the first ethicals that we understand, and also the market that we understand much better.
Okay.
But it's a globalized world. If you have a solution, you can very easily, solutions like this, you can apply anywhere in the world. That's another story. Yeah, we have to first build something.
Yeah. So if we were to conclude, what is the one thing that you wish business students and professionals should understand better about artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Two aspects. Again, technology. Technology, it is very good to know what is a good business case, but you should understand, or at least talk about, what is the current technology level and what is easy for technology so that you can meet on the same level. On the other hand, also don't be just driven by the crazy guys who are doing the AI, because they can build something which is very complicated and at the end doesn't pay off. So that is the aspect I would encourage people to understand more about technology, or talk with the people and have a dialogue with the one designing it. Because today's world, it's not just I have idea, somebody will build it. Like famous LEG joke about flying skateboard. Yeah, I have idea, somebody's out. I just give it, somebody's going to build it. But basically, to understand and not read only economy, read a little bit about technology and have that together. I don't know. For me, that's interesting. And then a second thing is very much about legislation. Think about how much this is going to affect laws, rules, changes in the production lines, changes within. Maybe we need common wage. That is an aspect that is outside of technology, and I don't know that much about it. But this is something where I encourage people to start really, if not. But then you also need to understand technology there, and not only look at economical, but also about the impact on society. So those are the two things I would say that are happening now, and 10 years from now, I think there are going to be lawyers specifically for technology and AI, and I hope my daughter is going to be one of them, for example. So
good. So do you have something else to add, Shrey?
No, I think this has been a very I've learned so much from this discussion. It's really nice to see where we stand and where we are going, and it's very interesting for the audience to sort of understand that this is coming. It's coming really, this AI revolution is coming, and it's already here in many ways. And so it's very nice to see where we have these good things that are happening, but also to be aware of the kind of the negative sides of it, and to sort of take steps to mitigate the negative side.
What I can add is that, you can share my contacts and so on. Meaning, it is definitely coming. What we are proud of, we are one of the pioneers. I would say we are one of the companies that can do this stuff, really show them that they are done. Boston Robotics, for example, is more focusing on the robot itself and the movements with the joints and that kind of sense. We are doing this for the purposes of the economy market. And Norway can afford itself that, or Nordic countries. And I'm encouraging people to think about that, especially from economy side, rather than some other countries in which you go for cheaper labor because it's available, and then you can't do certain technological projects. So that's for my sake. If somebody else, something else to ask or want to discuss, you can share my contacts.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the perfect sort of line to conclude this discussion. I think this has been really, really excellent. Thank you so much, Haris, for doing this. And it's been really a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, Donna and Shrey also. Yeah. Thank you.